Hello, you magnificent, malfunctioning, mouth-breathing, misinformed, mechanically minded, mobile, memorable, mischievously mature, miserable, motionless bastard. Hello and welcome back once again to another whiskey review with the Whiskey Novice. And thank you to Alfie, hold on. Ralphie, sorry, for that malt mention. Sorry, obviously no offence meant by anything what just happened there. Just having a bit of fun. And we'll get back to Alfie later on. But let's move on. Review number 23. And I'm going to try and motor through this review fairly quickly because there's things at the end of this video which I would like to discuss. You're not going to get a telling off, there's not going to be any questions asked, just things relating to what I'm reviewing today. And what I am reviewing today is this Glengoyne 14-year-old. As you can see, I've already got some in the glass because I want it to, as I say, motor on a bit and let it open up a bit. So it's already poured. There's also very little left in this, unfortunately. So, now, why can you not buy this off the shelf? This is part 4 and the last part of my little mini series of whiskies you can't buy off the shelf. Why you can't buy this one off the shelf? Well, actually you can, as long as that shelf is that of Marks and Spencer's. Marks and Spencer's is a UK supermarket chain, and Glengoyne bottle this 14-year-old exclusively for Marks and Spencer's. So you'll not get it anywhere else in the world, only in the UK. So if you are a tourist coming to the UK looking for exclusive Scotch whiskies, rather than, if you don't make it to a distillery, a certain distillery, certainly worth a pick up on this here for the simple fact that you're only going to get it in one place. So moving on, Glengoyne 14-year-old, bottled at 40%. Is it chill filtered? Yes. Is the colour added? No. So that much we know from the bottle. On the nose, toffee, and it actually this is finished in Oloroso sherry casks, and it suggested in the tasting notes on the bottle pear, and I'm actually going to agree with them that yes, there is a hint of pear on it. So toffee, pear. It's very rich butterscotch, particularly like Werther's Originals, which are candy sweet. Not sure how widely available they are around the world, but like I would suggest there's Werther's Originals in this. Tobacco leaf, mint, caramel, hint of cinnamon, lemon curd. Not really a citrusy, but a thick lemon curd. Slight medicinal note, but it's not peated. It's not. There's no peat in this, but it's, when I say medicinal note, it is like a hospital hand sanitizer. If you visited a hospital and used hand sanitizer, there's a hint of that of it. Not unpleasant by any means. On to the palate. Sweet. Arrival. Like icing sugar, powdered sweet. Chewy fruit sweets. Not jellies, but like we would have Starburst here, and there's that, and there's not a particular flavour, but there's just a tang off the palate, which is, I would think, it's quite related to that chewy fruit sweet thing. Tangy, watermelon, some musty notes in the background. On that watermelon hint, actually, I would even say watermelon Jolly Ranchers, which I used to love but can't get here anymore. And it's very, very soft on the palate. Beautifully soft, actually. Very, very easy to drink. Finish, medium to short. But let this open up and settle, which it has done here. And I mean, you can drink this. You could drink this like water. It is just so soft and palatable, rich, creamy. It's just so friendly. Slight pepper, and I would suggest a dark chocolate orange. Now, I'm going to add a little drop of water, but very, very little. It doesn't. It's only 40%. Doesn't take a whole lot. Just 3 little drops in there, and see what it does. It doesn't change it, doesn't modify it completely, but it does change slightly. Fresher, sweeter, creamier, if that's possible, because this is just creamy and rich. Slight mint showing up in the palate. Like peppermint, I would suggest. Lucozade. I'm not sure if Lucozade is yet again is an international thing, but I'm just getting that it's something slightly different. Yet again, not off-putting. There's just something there. Say that the finish is just soft and so easy to drink. And what did I give it? Because, as I say, trying to motor through this quickly. Very good. This sells for £40 in Marks and Spencer's. And for that price, you're not going to get it anywhere else in the world. It's slightly more expensive than the 12-year-old, but less expensive than the 15. So it just fits right in as a 14-year-old, but as I say, exclusive. So, you know, there's braggers' rights there that you're not going to get it. With a, you know, there's not a widely available. And as such, I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10. It is good whiskey, and I liked it. And that's the review done for this edition. But now I'm going to share the love again. Bring back. I didn't do it in the last edition. This edition, I'm going to share the love again. And this time, it felt only right to do it for the man himself, the master of malt, the godfather of grain, the curmudgeon of the cask. Ralphie, there he is. What a man. Matter of fact, hold on. It's only right that one dresses for the occasion. Yes, Ralphie, the man himself. If you're into whiskey at all, and if you're here, I imagine you are, I would imagine you probably know who Ralphie is. And I mean, he's established. 2019, he celebrated 10 years of vlogging and whiskey reviewing on YouTube. So, and he had many years of experience before that. So a wide depth of that word again experience. And I don't think I would be wrong in saying, I don't think too many would disagree with me when I say that he is pretty much the vlogger's vlogger. He's the man that we vloggers turn to when we want to know what a whiskey's like. I'll always check for Ralphie's opinion on a whiskey before I buy a whiskey, if he has one. He doesn't review everything, but he tries. So there you are. Love shared, man of the moment, Ralphie. Now, as I said earlier, I'll just leave him up there because there's other things that I want to discuss sort of regarding what's going on here, because there was a hint of calculated risk in reviewing this, because it is a 40% Oloroso cask finished single malt whiskey, as is this, which I reviewed in my last episode number 22. And so here you have 2 whiskies, 2 Scotch single malts, both bottled at 40% ABV, both finished in Oloroso sherry casks. 7.5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. And it did well at 6 out of 10. Bit of a spoiler for you there, but if you haven't watched the other episode. So why, in my opinion, is this better than this? Well, let's look at the similarities between these two first. Both bottled at 40%, yes. Both finished in Oloroso sherry casks, yes. Both in glass bottles with corks and labels. That's where the similarities end, pretty much. It's the differences that you're looking for which made me rate this higher than this. And if you're new to whiskey, those differences might not be as obvious as they become the longer you're drinking it, because those differences could be barley, the yeast, the still configuration, the maturation time, the cask quality and choice, he or she or whoever bottled it, there's etc. etc. The list goes on. We know that this has been matured for at least 14 years in Oloroso sherry casks. This could be 3 years and caramel colouring added. Don't think it's that young, but it could be. So the differences basically make these two whiskies black and white, even though on first look they're the same. So it always pays to be open-minded and try one against another, even though they may look, I mean, as I say, the deeper you get into whiskey, the more you realise whiskey is such an open world, and so different. Everything could be so different. I also took a slightly calculated risk in reviewing this, because the only other review, which was online when I reviewed it, was Ralphie's, and I believe it may still be the only other review of this. So why was that a bit of a calculated risk? Well, as much as whiskey is subjective and we all taste, smell different things, if I'd have said that this smelled like dog shit and hairspray, there would have been a list of people in the complaints department, or certainly in the comments below, saying that my sense of smell was obviously broken. Thankfully for me, and I was delighted when I checked Ralphie's review afterward, and we actually matched up on quite a few tasting notes. Now, as I said earlier, when I bought this bottle at first, I checked Ralphie's review, but I've had this bottle for a year or more. So that was the last time I checked at that point. I did my tasting notes, I gave it a rating, and then I watched Ralphie's video again, just for curiosity's sake, and as I say, we actually matched up in some of our tasting notes. So I was delighted, because it obviously meant that the whiskey is speaking for itself, and that obviously I've started to find these things enough that I can spot them, some of them. And there you are, that's pretty much it. This is a bit of this whole episode is sort of an homage to this guy here. And as I say, if you haven't seen him, I'll leave links to his channel, and I'll leave a link to his review for this here down below. And thank you for watching. It has been a pleasure as always, and I'm going to wrap it up at that and say here's to your good health. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.